Hey guys, this is wersderf, and welcome to episode 6 of my World of Tanks for Beginners series. It's going to be a series, you all know that stuff. Watch the earlier episodes if you haven't learned anything, and if you've learned something, then let's just go right to the light tanks. Right here is the ELC AMX. This is an atypical light tank. I would show you my tier 8 French light tank, but I just recently got the tier 9 version, which is a medium tank, so I'm showing you the ELC instead. So we're on light tanks. Characteristics, whew, that word's hard. Characteristics of light tanks are that they are lightly armored, they're really fast, agile, they can turn quickly, and they usually have more on the weaker side of guns. While some of the guns can be very effective, most of the effectiveness of light tanks come from their ability to spot the enemy. Light tanks are the scouts of the team. They get into positions and scout for artillery and your other teammates. They hide in bushes to passive scout, or they run around like a madman and use their speed to avoid getting shots, because they have such little armor. Another role that I believe that light tanks play are that they pester the enemy. Light tanks, due to their speed, they're able to get into weird spots on the map, and they're able to mess with tanks and divert their focus away from your teammates, which could potentially damage them, to a light tank like you that could be damaging them, but not as severe as your heavy tanks. So light tanks can be used in that purpose as well. It's a little bit harder to do because, again, you're drawing focus to you and you're lightly armored, and you could die very easily if you're pestering. Another third role that is kind of, it's like a sub role, it's not like it's a not major, is to hunt artillery. Usually less experienced light tank drivers think that that's their only purpose, is to hunt artillery, which I guess it's okay to be like low tier light tanks to do that, but when you get to the higher tier light tanks, that's not going to be as easy as running right into base, because teams at higher tiers are aware of light tanks that run right into the base, and likely you'll just die after you kill the artillery, or even die trying. And a light tank that dies in the very beginning of the battle will do no good for their team. Do not be a Swiss scout, as people call it. Scouts that just rush and think that if they can get spots before their team even gets into position to shoot them, that they can be some kind of use to their team, even dying after getting those first spots. So when you're scouting, I forgot to mention this the first time, when you're scouting, if you're passive scouting or if you're not passively scouting, you have to make sure that you stay alive, and you have to allow your teammates to get into position to shoot the enemies that you're spotting. Otherwise, your spotting will do no good for the team. So with all that in mind, I have a game in my AMX 1390 that I would like to show you guys. So let's get right to it. Alright guys, so we have a AMX 1390 game on South Coast. And per usual, when you're in a tier 8 light tank, you'll get into tier 10 matches. And this is really where the meat in the gravy are in playing light tanks, is when you're in tier 10 matches. That's where your true skills as a light tank driver are put to the test. As I said in the medium tank episode before, I didn't get to learn how to properly drive light tanks until very late. I'm still learning. I still consider myself a really awful light tank driver. And that might be due to my lack of experience in light tanks or not. Either way, I'm still learning just as much as anybody else in playing light tanks. But this game that I'm about to show you is actually pretty neat. So I'm going to start explaining what I'm doing here. South Coast is not necessarily the best map to scout on at all, because a lot of the fighting is close quarters, and scouting or spotting any of the enemy team is really dangerous because there's not many routes. There's a lot of hills, and there aren't many safe routes to routes to take for scouting, where you're able to scout, get in and get out. So I'm going to take the role of more of the pestering kind of medium tank. I'm kind of playing like a medium tank right now. Like, I was able to put a shot in that Pat and help our team kill him. I'm just being a tank and dealing damage where I can. Like for this T-57 here, I put one shot into him. And even the slightly armored T-30 that I bounce there, I'm able to put shots in because I'm taking opportunities that are given to me, and I'm reversing, and I do not want to get shot by this T-57. And our RU takes a shot for me, so I'm reloading. I bounce, I get out of there, and an E-100 comes around the corner and finishes off my tier 8 friend. So I'm still reloading. If you don't know, the 1390 is a tank with a 6-round autoloader. It takes about 40 seconds to reload the entire clip, but as you might be able to see, you can fire quite fast with its 90mm gun. And also, the gun, or the tank itself, is quite fast. And I see there are just way too many tanks for me to handle. I'm trying to get a shot in this T-30, sneak a shot, and since he's on 2% health, and the shot doesn't connect to where I want it to. I'm waiting for this T-30 to shoot so I can get a better position on him. But I really do not want to even touch that E-100 below me. I have to get the very, very back of his hull in order to deal damage to him, and even then, he has way too many hit points for me to manage, and he has support. So I have no business going after that E-100. So I see some tanks on here. Using my speed, I relocate to where I was in to help my teammates up here. Use my autoloader, and also get a better vantage point on this T-30. See if we can finish him. So right here we have a shot on him. We damage his track, but finish him off with the second shot. Using our speed, the T-30 was not anticipating us being up there so fast. So we were able to use our speed, get a different shot on him, and finish him off. So we see these two tanks over here, and we see maybe we can help them by putting some shot into these tanks. Exposing the least amount of myself in order to do so. So I see this LTTB here, and I go after him. And of course, this E-100 is like, whoa, that's not cool. Unfortunately, he misses his shot. Whether he was shooting at the E-75 or me, he completely misses. And I just need to get out of here. I, again, have no business, and I try and track him for my teammates to finish him off. And now I'm out. I need to reload and get out of there. And I see that this tank up here, the Batchat, which is the tier 9 Big Brother, and here comes the 1390. There's two tanks coming after me. Big Brother and Evil Twin is coming after me, and I'm reloading. I can't do anything. I just need to get out of here, use my speed. And here comes another Batchat. Now there's 3 tanks on me, all with autoloaders, and I need to get out of here. I've already taken a couple hits, and then the Batchat takes another spot down here. I am just, like, putting on the grease all over my tank and slipping out of these guys' control. Right now, I'm using a technique of swerving back and forth in order to avoid shots. I take one last shot there. Now, since they were focusing on shooting me, they stopped, so they have to play catch up right now. Some of the people in the chat will realize how I'm running, and there's the E-100, and oh man, that one was close. You see how close that was? Now there's 4 tanks after me. It's using my speed, I'm able to get away from all of them. And my friend, the Jagdpanzer E-100, comes to save the day and finishes off the 1390 chasing after me. So my whole goal right there was to get to my teammates. If I had taken that chase somewhere else, I would have likely died because I would have had no support. So now I'm with my teammates, and I'm going to figure out where I can go next to strike, since I have full armor. And right here, I'm seeing... I'm just not sure what to do, and Jagdpanzer E100 fortunately saves us a second time. So the whole point of that, me showing you that little bit, was that sometimes light tanks' effect on the game is indirect. For instance, I ran away from that engagement with them. If I had stayed there and maybe tried to put some shots in the E100, the Batchat and 1390 would have both came after me and finished me off. I did leave my E75 and Conqueror friends to die, but there wasn't much I could do, so I used my speed to get the hell out of there. And I do miraculously dodge multiple shots from all those tanks and avoid being hit. So right now I'm going on a hunt for Artie because it's late in the game. My team is going to stay together, and since we don't have artillery, the difference in the game is going to be their artillery. If they're able to utilize their own positioning and the artillery, it could be the game changer. They could use that to their advantage and win this game. So I am using my speed to hunt Artie down. And I did get spotted there. I don't know by who. I think later I find out that it was one of the Batchats. Because he doesn't like... So I'm going to speed it up a bit. I'm just running around, checking all the corners, making sure that Artie is not around any of these little nooks and crannies. Meanwhile, my team is fighting off an onslaught of enemy tanks. And while I'm driving around the base, I spot the Batchat. Enemy artillery right up there. And I don't have the gun elevation nor the gun depression to climb up after them. So I'm going to need to find another way of approach. And I also spot that tortoise right there. So if I stick around there, I'm dead. Because the tortoise is going to turn around and finish me off before I even get the chance to kill the artillery. So I'm going to find a different way to shoot this artillery. Find a different vantage point. It was also very likely that the artillery was reloading. So he wouldn't be able to get shot at me. So I'm gonna, at the end of the game, I'm just zooming around. And even now, I'm not having direct contact with the enemy team, but I'm being a nuisance, certainly, because they need to worry about me, whether they like it or not. I could sneak up on the E100 and put my whole magazine into the back of his tank and deal a significant amount of damage or even kill him. The Batchat, I could sneak up on him while he's fighting my teammates. The tortoise, the same thing, and the artillery. They don't know where I am, and I could be anywhere. And that's this cool thing about light tanks is that, especially later in the game, you can just be everywhere at once because you're so fast, and be just as deadly as when you were scouting. So I couldn't get a shot up there. I'm moving up to get a better shot of the Batchat, and he hasn't seen that I spotted him, and I put one shot into him. Now what he does is start rocking back and forth, and I take the bait and I miss 3 different times. Now I need to hit these last 2 shots, otherwise I won't be able to kill him. And I take my time, aim it well, and finish him off with the last shell in my magazine. Let that be the lesson to be patient. So I'm out. I need to reload, and I'm just gonna see if I can help my team finish off either of these enemies. And yeah, the Batchat is probably right. We probably won because they couldn't hit me. I was a little greased up AMX 1390 and slipping through their grasp. And maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to put a finishing shot into this E100. Or the Jagdpanzer will get Top Gun. Oh, and the E4 finishes him off. But I show my pride and put one final shell into the burning carcass of the E100. So, that was the end of the game. Let's go to the stats. Alright, so that game was a victory. And I ended up getting 2100 XP and a first class medal. Looking at the team score, I managed to get the top experience on the team, and looking at that, 1400 damage is not very much compared to the Jagdpanzer's 6000 damage. But the reason why I was top, because I dealt that damage, or I dealt that damage to higher tiers higher than me. I dealt most of my damage to tier 10 vehicles, and a couple hundred to the T30. Looking at the detail report, you can see that I actually did not carry any assisted damage at all. But knowing how fast the 1390 is, you can see that I traveled 7.5 kilometers in this game. 7.5 is a lot. And if you looked at the, if you saw the medium tanking from before, I traveled 2 kilometers. Comparatively, 7 to 2 is quite a big difference. And in a 12-minute game, I traveled 7.5 kilometers. That's just an example of how fast this tank is. And 1400 damage, I did miss 4 shots, and it being a tier 8 light tank, I bounced 7 shots of those that I hit. So anyways, that was a pretty neat game. Certainly one of those instances when you're playing World of Tanks and you're just like, how did I even do that? How did I even escape from those 4 tanks that were chasing me? It's just something really fun, and hopefully it was able to showcase at least partly what I was talking about when I was talking about light tanks. So that's the end of the light tank video. If you have any criticisms or anything to add to the light tanks and how they're played, then go ahead and make a comment below. I certainly am not the most knowledgeable World of Tanks player, nor the best. So if you think that I made a mistake, go ahead and type it in the comments so everyone can collectively learn more. And hopefully you learned something. Go ahead and subscribe if you are interested in seeing more of these World of Tanks for Beginners videos. They will start getting more complex the later I go and the deeper I get into the series. Also, I release these videos every Wednesday and Friday. So tune in Wednesday and Friday and you'll see a new World of Tanks for Beginners video. Anyways, it's been wersderf. Peace, love, and joy. 8 Chinese medium
Hey guys,
tanks.
this is wersderf, and this is the new series.
And some of the characteristics of medium tanks are that they're like,
everything
as the name suggests, they're in the middle. They're not heavy tanks, they're not light tanks, they're in the middle. So that means that they have pretty good armor, and these are all generalizations. Of course, there are exceptions. They have pretty good armor. They're decently fast.